Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. This week we're going to go look at one of Arizona's historical monuments. It's Montezuma's Castle and Montezuma's Well. So we got about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive to get there. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and bring you back when we get closer, or if there's something interesting to see along the way. Other than that, it's going to be all freeway driving. So until then, I'll see you in a few. Talk to you later. As we get close to the monument, I thought I would go ahead and bring you back so you can enjoy the beauty of the Verde Valley. It is just absolutely gorgeous. I also wanted to let you know that to get into the monument, if you have a National Parks Pass, the annual pass, that will cover your entrance fee into the monument. If you have any other pass, whatever the fees are associated with getting into a national park would be associated with this. And if you didn't have one, it would just be the cost of the entrance fee to get into the monument or the park. As we come around, I can see that a lot of folks had the same idea I did, and that was to get here early when it first opened, number one, to avoid the heat should it get too high, but also to avoid the crowds. So let's see if I can find some parking, and then we'll go ahead and get inside and look at the monument. As we head down the path, I'm going to try and do my best not to capture too many people in the video, as I want to respect their privacy, but sometimes it can't be helped because it is kind of tight. It's just the sidewalk. But the castle itself, fun fact, is that although named Montezuma's Castle, it was not any way related or built by the Aztec Emperor Montezuma. The Sinagua people constructed the castle, and they lived here in the Verde Valley between 1100 and 1425 AD. The castle itself is 5 stories with 20 rooms, and it sits about 90 feet above the valley floor and housed between 30 and 50 people. So the Sinagua people chose the site because of its natural advantages. So living behind in the wall provided shelter from the elements, and then the height protected them from the annual flooding that happened from Beaver Creek. And then, just from the height of the castle where they're living provided a very good defensive vantage point for them. So as we go through and look at the castle, you'll see throughout the tour, I will zoom in and zoom out of the looks like holes in the wall, but they're actually like little windows and that you can look in these alcoves. And later on in the tour, you'll see a replica where they've actually looked like they built a replica of the castle from the inside, and so if you were to flip the wall, then you would be able to see it. Now, I do try to capture as many signs as possible, but because of the sun, a lot of times my silhouette just kind of covered the sign. So the ones that I could capture, I did to provide some information and background. There are signs of all the vegetation and foliage, but I didn't capture too much of that. And as you can see right here behind me, I think I panned around, there are some benches that you can just sit and just enjoy the castle and kind of just look at it. Now, it is recommended that you wear good walking shoes. I do that. And if you just, the time that you would need to do the tour, if you're just looking at what they call a quick look, just kind of walk around and just look at the dwelling, that's going to take you like 20 to 30 minutes. If you want to walk the whole loop and look at all the signs and everything, that's look like 60 minutes. And then if you include the castle and the well, you might as well allow about 2 hours, because to get to the well is about a 20-minute drive. So with that, let's just take a look and take in the beauty of the castle. And I'm gonna stop and let the group behind me pass so that we can take a little more time here and look at some of these signs. On this sign where they speak of the cycles of care, it alludes to what I spoke to earlier about how they chose the castle, the wall, for a reason to protect them from the elements. And also it goes on that, picking that structure is still 500 years later, the walls are still mainly intact. Now, in 1906, they did have to make this a national monument to not only preserve it, and they stopped all tours, but also because there was a lot of stealing of the artifacts inside the castle. And, it's almost like when we were at Hamalavi, they had to make it a national monument to preserve what was left so people would quit stealing things inside. Let's see. So aloft but not alone, water, shelter, building materials, arable land, and other environmental conditions made the Verde Valley an ideal place to live. Montezuma Castle is the most obvious structure here, but was a larger community that included rooms here in the castle. To your left, the loose stones at the top of the small hill in front are remnants of 8 to 10 pueblo rooms. Because of the bountiful resources, scattered farming villages developed roughly 600 to 1100, followed by larger settlements like the castle complex. Wow. As we move further down here, this is where I actually zoom in on the alcove, so you can actually see the little, I'm going to call them windows, but the alcoves here in the side of the castle wall, where the folks on the inside could look out. So this area here is where actually the closest you could get. So zooming in made it very easy. And some of these little alcoves, you can see inside parts of the castle wall, and some of those you'll see exactly the what's on the inside when we get around the corner and we see the replica of what it looks like on the inside and what it looked like for them looking out. So one nice thing is this path is all paved, and I think it's like a third of a mile round trip. So it's pretty easy walk, and they do let you know where it's too steep. If you have folks that you come with that have some challenges with walking, or if they're in motorized vehicles, they do let you know that. So just wanted to share that. So, oh, water. Okay, so what is this? Okay, so Lifeline. Beaver Creek has always been a major focus of life in the Verde Valley. Prehistoric Sinagua farmers constructed Montezuma Castle and other structures near the creek. They dug ditches to carry creek water to irrigate the fields of corn, beans, squash, and cotton they cultivated on flat patches of creek bottom land. They also hunted animals attracted by the creek and gathered creekside plants. Ever sensitive to moods of Beaver Creek because their lives literally depended on it, the Sinagua watched their lifeline change with the seasons. Sometimes seemingly in the blink of an eye, the gentle, clear meander grew into a raging, muddy torrent, leaving debris stranded high in the creekside. Now, they did say they don't know why they abandoned the castle, but it assumed it's because as the community grew, water and food became more scarce. It couldn't provide for the growing population. It's just one day they left. So, I believe now we head back. This is the replica I was referring to earlier that shows what the inside of the castle looked like on the 5 floors. Behind this glass, there is an audio program. It takes about 7 minutes to listen to. And so I highly encourage folks to do that if you come out this way. So before the end of official guided tours in the dwelling, which was on October 1st, 1951, park rangers had long been aware of what was considered to what was the impacts to so many people walking around the fragile site, which is why they stopped taking tours inside. Now they do castle tours, and something else, if you Google it, it's something like $300 or $240, somewhere around there. I think it depends on where you go. But they do give guided tours, but I don't think they take you inside, but I'm not sure where it goes. You'd have to do more research on that. I personally did not want to do that, so I didn't look into it because I can walk around here and at my own pace. So on we go. So we are at the end of the tour of the castle wall, or the actual castle. This path here will take us back to the very beginning of where we started our walk to view the castle. And then we'll go inside and take a look at the exhibits and the small museum they have right there on the inside of the visitor center. So this is inside the visitor center. So when you end the tour and come through the doors, you walk to your left, and these are some of the artifacts they have that are in the case that they have preserved. And then around the wall, as I walk around, there's some other things as I talk more about the Sinagua people and what they've done. I tried to do as much as I could. It started to get crowded in here, and so it's a very small space. So on some of the items, I'm kind of up close, but I wanted to try and share as much as I could. What I did learn in this tour is that at one point in time, the Verde Valley was a major hub for trading. This, where the Sinagua were known for trading their high quality cotton textiles and jewelry and baskets, they traded for luxury good items like seashells, copper bells, and exotic pigments that they would use to make the beautiful linens and fabrics that they would trade. They grew their own corn and basically their own crops, right? Corn, beans, and squash, and they used those as well for trade. They would trade food. So that was very interesting to learn. I mean, the craft here, you just look at the weaving, is beautiful, what they did. And I just found it very interesting. If you do go into the visitor center, this here is the beginning of a movie that really takes you inside the castle, and I encourage you to watch it if you do go. Okay, so I bought myself a passport to your national park, so now I'm going to stamp. Okay, perfect. So that was the end of the tour after I got my little passport book. So now we are going to head out and go to the well. Well, it looks like it's pretty crowded. Hopefully I can find a parking spot. If not, I'll come back and park right behind this camper. But hopefully as we pull in, someone will pull out and we can find a spot. Okay, we're headed up to the well. It's paved the whole way, but it is straight up, and you do have to take stairs. So just for balance, I'm going to turn the camera off and I'll meet you guys at the top. Okay, let's take a look at the water. I have such a fear of heights. This is going to be fun. The well is a limestone sinkhole that is fed by underground springs, and even with the drought-like conditions here in Arizona, the water level stays practically the same year-round. It doesn't, dry out from when there's no rain or anything like that because it is fed from the springs underneath. And the Sinagua people use the well water for irrigation for their crops.
I think it's just a geological phenomenon.
There's a guardrail here.
Because the water does come from underneath.
Yeah.
It says it comes with great force. They put some
You can see it bubbling
instruments down in the holes where the water and it pushed them out.
Yeah. Well, I think what it is.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Now, for those of you that like to hike, there is a trail, and you can go over to the other side, or you can actually crawl down, not crawl down, but hike down to the water. I don't know if you caught it on the last sign, but people who have hiked down to the well have asked, can you drink the water? The water is highly carbonated with high dissolved levels of carbon dioxide and high levels of arsenic. So that would be a no in case you are wondering. Okay guys, that's it for today's video. We went to see Montezuma's castle. We came up here to the well. It's been a great morning. So if you guys are in Arizona, this is a definite stop. It's a great historical piece of history to look at. It's the third monument, I believe, in Arizona. I have to get my facts straight on that, and I can do it in a voiceover in the beginning. But other than that, it is a nice 77 degrees. It's beautiful. It's 11 o'clock in the afternoon. We're gonna head back down to the valley where the temperature will jump up to like 97 and maybe into 100. So thanks for spending the morning with me, and I'll catch you at the next campsite. So yes, we are going to go camping in next video. I miss my outdoors. I miss just being one with nature and the quiet, not all the hustle bustle with the city and the towns and all the noise that comes with it. So until then, I'll see you at the next campsite. And again, thanks for coming along. I hope you enjoyed the trip. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell notification so next time I upload a video, you'll be notified. Have a good one. Thanks.